Well, my name is Emily Partin, and I am the Grundy County Commissioner for the 3rd District, which includes Tracy City and Monteagle. And I am here in great hopes that the Mountain Goat Trail will find its way from Suwanee to Monteagle and then on right through here to Tracy City, then all the way to Palmer. We are now sitting on part of the old railroad bed that ran from, obviously, Cowan all the way to Palmer. The Suwanee Mining Company built the railroad up Cowan Mountain, which turned out to be the steepest railroad for that time that had ever been attempted. And it came right through here to go get that coal in Tracy City. And then as those pockets of coal, wound down, more coal was discovered out in Palmer, so the railroad track went on through the county to the north end of Palmer, and it really opened up the county to transportation. There were young kids that could ride the train off the mountain down to Cowan, get an ice cream cone, and come back up to the mountain, so it kind of broadened the horizons for some of the children. We are an Appalachian area, so some of these kids may have never seen a train or even gone and certainly never ridden one. The Mountain Goat Railroad brought life to this area. It started Tracy City as a coal mining town, and it continued to be the life of the area on up into the 70s and early 80s when they took the tracks up and decided it was time to move on. One of the primary things that happened after the Civil War in this area was to get that railroad rebuilt. I'm sure there were lots of other agendas, but that railroad was key back then. And I think the Mountain Goat Trail is going to be key to our development as a county today, and we need to get it built and rebuilt right through here and bring some prosperity as far as tourism, but also our county really needs a place for our young families to get out and get active, and we have a very active health council here on the mountain with that goal in mind. And we need some positive places for young families and older families to run and walk and just green space. We really are going to have to work on spreading the word to the common person in Grundy County that this is a good thing and that it will bring tourism, and that's a great thing, and it'll bring the kind of tourists that we want here. And those tourists are the ones that are going to come and respect the land. They're going to keep it, they're going to leave it better than they found it for the most part. Grundy County is behind the times in a lot of things, and in one way we're kind of fortunate for that because we have not built up business. We haven't got neon signs everywhere. We're not a Gatlinburg per se, so we're an untouched natural area, and there's very few places in Tennessee that people can go now to get that kind of view, natural resources. So if you're from Atlanta, why would you want to come to Monteagle Mountain, to the South Cumberland Plateau? Well, few reasons. You're going to have this to yourself. We've been out here for 30 minutes and haven't had anybody run us off, haven't had to fight for some privacy. And that's true of most of the places that you'd visit up here. It's quiet, but then you've got the University of the South if you want to get involved in some cultural events. The South Cumberland Park system has done a tremendous mission here in the county. There's lots more that they had hoped to do from their plan back in the original 70s, but they have been an asset to this area. And the Mountain Goat Trail would simply just be icing on the cake for that park system, because you're attracting similar type folk that are going to come in. They're going to want to hike for a while, they're going to want to bike, they're going to want to be connected to the communities and learn about the cultural heritage. This bike trail is going to connect us back together as a county, and I think that's vitally important, that we be able to somebody in Tracy City say, hey, let me tell you what's going on out in Palmer. you can take that mountain goat trail right to the Savage Gulf entrance on 399 and be able to talk about it. And for years, there's not been that kind of camaraderie between the communities, but we're going to come together as a county now and recognize that this is the good for all of us. I just see this as what's coming. You always hear the train's coming, the train's coming. And I just saw a movie the other day, and it was so interesting. The little boy put his ear down on the track, and after the train had left, and he said, I can still hear it. I can still hear where it's going. I wonder where it's going. And if we can get our children to be thinking about that, where can I go? Where can that train take me? Where can that trail take me? We got to think beyond even this area and get our children to think broader. Where's it going? I think the most important thing that we can all do at this point is to have an open mind about the project and to see it as a potentially wonderful goal that will partner several different communities. There's not a community on the plateau that won't be positively affected by this project, and there hasn't been much of that we could all rally behind before this time. There were a lot of places that we could have met to have this conversation, so why did we meet here? This railroad at one time was the property line between private property on either side, and on this side of this railroad was the property of Partin's farm, and that's my ancestors. And so the Fire Gizzard Creek, which is a pristine creek that runs through our state park now, was years ago my family and all the other kids around here's personal playground. That's where we went swimming. And this railroad that came through here was the way that my cousins and my brothers would walk to our farm from our houses in the city of Tracy to come down to the Partin's farm. So this is a very personal spot for me and why I wanted to meet here. I don't own this property anymore, but I have memories of this property, and I have memories of being in that water just below us that you can probably hear. And I would like to have other people have similar memories, grandkids, to know what all this area was about at one time and how it was just a haven for those of us that lived here.